My name is Angela Williams-Nash. Welcome to this overview of the New Jersey Student Learning Standards, Computer Science and Design Thinking, K-2 Computing System. The K-2 Computing System strand is designed for students to understand that we interact with computing devices every day. From cell phones, laptops, and tablets used in school or at home, to systems that record their school's daily attendance. These devices collect, store, and act upon information provided by us. The main goals of this strand is to ensure that students know that computing systems need both hardware and software to work. That hardware is the equipment that we use. Some equipment is inside the computer and is referred to as internal hardware. Other equipment is outside of the computer and is referred to as external hardware or peripheral devices. Students should be able to identify, spell, and explain the function of mobile versus stationary devices, common external hardware like a mouse, keyboard, printer, scanner, and headphones, and common internal hardware like a hard drive, memory, and motherboard. Software programs or apps are what we use to complete tasks on the computer. Provide examples by listing the types of apps used within your class, school, and district. Although the goal appears daunting, it is manageable with preparation and planning. Remember, you have 3 years from kindergarten to grade 2. Here are some things you can do to prepare. Download the NJSLS standard and read just the strand you are working with. Do not focus on all of it. Just look at the material needed now. Save the rest for another day. Reach out to your technology supervisor and request training. Contact your IT department to see if there is an old device that will be discarded. Work with the IT person to open the device, label and explain the function of key parts like hard drive, memory, and motherboard. Familiarize yourself with the inside. Then leave the device on display for students. Create logon cards for every student and allow daily practice. Create large posters for a word wall that show and spell the following: mobile versus stationary devices, internal computer hardware like a hard drive, memory, and motherboard, external computer hardware or peripheral devices like a mouse, keyboard, printer, scanner, and headphone. An instructional guide on how to log on and log off the computer system and learning management system. Create a YouTube playlist of age-appropriate videos that explain key concepts. View the videos first, then share them as part of your learning management system. Create pre-test and post-test. Start with simple explanations and work towards more difficult or detailed answers. As you roll out computer science education, you will probably need to scaffold the material from one grade to the next. Students in kindergarten and first grade might just be learning letter recognition and pronunciation. This strand can be used to reinforce beginning reading and writing skills. Here is one approach to scaffolding this material. For kindergartners, regularly review the material in the posters, working on the identification and pronunciation of vocabulary words. Discuss the hardware and software apps used in your classroom. Have students talk about their purpose and function. Let students work collaboratively and then by themselves identifying pictures of different components and then finding letter tiles and spelling the words correctly. End the year or marking period with a picture post test. In first grade, you may want to step back. Give the students the kindergarten post test. Assess it to determine if that should be your starting point or if you can move forward with spelling and more detailed definitions. Create a pre-test to determine if students can match picture words with words from the word wall. If they cannot, create exercises for classwork and homework that will allow them to practice. As students use software apps more independently, have them name and explain the function of the app. In other words, what they are capable of doing with it. Create homework assignments and projects that allow them to draw and write to explain the function of different hardware devices and apps that they use routinely, end the year or marking period with a post-test. Such a test might require students to match pictures with words, define the function of common devices, and explain or write a sentence or two about what specific apps are used to do. In grade 2, you may have to step back. Give students the post-test from grade 1. Assess scores to determine your starting point. You may have to start with ideas from grade 1 before moving on to grade 2. Make sure students understand that login cards will be taken back at a certain point. Extend the time as needed to meet the needs of your students. Give students a pretest that include matching and explanations. Give vocabulary practice sheets and tests. Provide students with more specific definitions for hardware and software components. Make sure students can log on independently. End the marking period or year with a post-test that includes matching device or app pictures with its name, explaining the difference between stationary and mobile devices, identifying hardware components as either internal or external, and explaining the function of components and apps. This concludes our review of the K2 Computer Science strand on computing systems. I hope you are excited to begin your journey with so many other teachers throughout the state of New Jersey. Most importantly, breathe. Do not stress yourself out. You will get better with planning, practice, and time.